Hi all, I am Dr. Anjali Abraham, Assistant Professor, Department of English, MA College, Kodamagalam. In this video, I would like to teach the poem Dover Beach by Mathew Arnold. This is in the third module of the prescribed text named Symphony of Verse for the third semester, second BA English Literature students. You all are welcome to my class. Dover Beach is not an easy poem. It has many layers and inner meaning. And this is considered as one of the foremost poems of 19th century. Let us start with Mathew Arnold. Mathew Arnold was an English poet and celebrated cultural critic. He was one of the most important commentators on Victorian society. He served for 35 years as an inspector of schools and in 1857 was also appointed professor of poetry at Oxford. He was influential as a social and literary critic who spoke against the provincialism and materialism of English life and culture, but is chiefly remembered as a poet. His poems are known for its simplicity, lucidity and straightforward approach, and this makes his poetry very interesting. This poem, Dover Beach, has been described as a single poem that brings together the major concerns of mid-Victorian writing. It is believed that the poem was written during Arnold's honeymoon and the speaker may be talking to his bride. Bringing together classical and modern illusions, the poem concludes with a vision of bleak nothingness. Here nature is no longer a source of strength and solace. The lovers can only resolve to be steadfast in love while recognizing that their love cannot be grounded in any kind of hope regarding the world that lies before them. Let us go through the stanza-wise explanation of the poem. This poem was published in 1867 in the volume entitled New Poems. This piece is made up of 4 stanzas containing a variable number of lines. They range in length from 14 to 6 lines in length. There is no consistent rhyme scheme, but there are a number of random rhymes such as and, a throughout the poem, and it is written in irregular iambic pentameter. Let's go to the first stanza. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits, on the French coast the light gleams and is gone, the cliffs of England stand, glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window, sweet is the night air, only from the long line of spray, where the sea meets the moon-blanched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling. At the return up the high strand, begin and cease and then again begin, with tremulous cadence low, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. See, this is a kind of dramatic monologue lamenting the loss of true Christian faith in England during the mid-1800s as science captured the minds of the public. The poet's speaker, considered to be Mathew Arnold himself, begins by describing a calm and quiet sea out in the English Channel. He stands on the Dover coast and looks across to France, where a small light can be seen briefly and then vanishes. The light represents the diminishing faith of the English people and those the world around. And throughout this poem, the speaker or Arnold crafts an image of the sea receding and returning to land with the faith of the world as it changes throughout time. At this point in time, though the sea is not returning, it is receding farther out into the strait. First line, the sea is calm tonight. Arnold begins his poem by giving a description of the setting in which it is taking place. It's clear from the title, although never explicitly stated in the poem, that the beach in question is Dover, on the coast of England. The sea is said to be calm. There is a beach on the water at full tide. The moon lies fair, lovely upon the straits. A strait is a narrow passage of water such as the English Channel onto which Dover Beach abuts. Although useful to imagine the speaker in a particular place, the setting is not as important as what it represents. The speaker is able to see across the channel to the French side of the water. The lights on the far coast are visibly gleaming, and then they disappear, and the cliffs of England are standing by themselves, vast and glimmering in the bay. The light that shines then vanishes. See those lines? Upon the straits on the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. They disappear, and the cliffs of England are standing by themselves, glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Tranquil means calm. The light that shines then vanishes, representing to the speaker and to Arnold himself the vanishing faith of the English people. Come to the window. See, the author is inviting his companion or his wife to the window. Come to the window, sweet is the night air. No one around him seems to see the enormity of what is happening. The night is very quiet and there is a calm. The speaker refers to as tranquil. But as the reader will come to see, many things may seem one way but actually exist as the opposite. Now the speaker turns to his wife and asks her to come to the window and breathe in the sweet night air. The second half of this stanza, beginning from the line only from the long line of spray, this is spent on describing the sounds of the water that the speaker is viewing. The speaker draws his companion's attention to the sound that the water makes as it rushes in over the pebbles on the shore. They roll over one another, creating the grating roar. See, where the sea meets the moon-blanched land. Listen, you hear the grating roar. This happens over and over again as the sea recedes and returns. When the sea recedes and returns, we can hear the sound, grating roar of the words, and the slow cadence of this movement and its eternal repetitions seem sad to the narrator. See, towards the second half of the stanza, the mood of the author is changing to a sad mood of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling, and the return of the high strand begin and cease and then again begin. Repetition of the sound with the tremulous cadence slow and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Let's go to the second stanza. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The second stanza is much shorter and relates the world in which the two characters are into the larger picture of history. The speaker states that long ago, Sophocles also heard this sound on the Aegean Sea as the tides came in. Who is Sophocles? Who penned the play Antigone, is one of the best known dramatic writers of ancient Greece. So it is believed that Arnold had in mind some passages from Antigone and the Women of Trachis. These are his plays. That's why he says, the speaker states that long ago Sophocles also heard this sound on the Aegean Sea as the tides came in, and it too brought to his mind the feelings of human misery and how these emotions ebb and flow. Ebb and flow means a recurrent pattern of coming and going, or decline and regrowth. That means a repetition of up and downs. And or ebb means movement of the tide out to sea. So he compares these two, human misery, and it too brought to his mind the feelings of human misery and how these emotions ebb and flow. So Arnold is hoping to bring to the reader's attention the universal experience of misery that all throughout the time have lived with. Life is full of pleasures and miseries. And this short stanza ends with a return to the present, as narrator states that we too are finding these same emotions in the sound. Let's go to the third stanza. The sea of faith was once too at the full, and round earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle full. But now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges rear and naked shingles of the world. The speaker describes religious faith as a sea that was once full like the tide. At that time, it reached around the earth like a girdle, like a dress or something around the waist. And fold means rolled out. The speaker just hears that sea, the sea sad retreat. As the sea of faith becomes smaller, the speaker says it disappears and the atmosphere and disappears the atmosphere and leaves the edges of the world naked. In the third stanza of the poem, it becomes clear that Arnold is in fact speaking about the diminishing faith of his countrymen and women. He describes the sea of faith once covered all of the round earth's shore and held everyone together like a girdle. Now, though this time has passed, no longer is the populace united by a common Christian faith in God, by, as Arnold sees, spread apart by new sciences and conflicting opinions. The comparison that he has been crafting between the drawing away and coming in of the sea is now made clear as his speaker says there is no longer any return. The sea is only receding now, melancholy and long. It is retreating from England and from the rest of the lands of the earth and leaving the people exposed. See, the speaker's position on this loss of religious faith becomes clear in this third stanza. Faith once made the world full and bright. That is, it offered comfort and joy in its certainty. Its loss then represents melancholy. What is more, the sea of faith once touched the shores of the entire world, full tide, but it is now what is retreating, means withdrawing. The poem is essentially saying that this loss of faith is global, in turn suggesting the vast reach of scientific advancements at the time. The speaker doubles down on the idea that scientific advancement represents a loss rather than a gain in the poem's final couplet, saying that the new era will herald confused alarms of struggle and flight, and ignorant armies clashing by night. In other words, the speaker believes that scientific advancement will bring only scientific, not spiritual, certainty and will lead to more doubt and questioning or more confused, which is in fact an important part of the scientific method of inquiry. Overall, then the poem expresses a kind of resignation. The speaker fully admits the change that is in process. It is as inevitable as the verbs rising and falling, and challenges the reader to consider whether this loss of faith is progress or a wrong turn. Let's go to the fourth stanza. Ah, love, let's be true to one another, for the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, hath really neither joy nor love nor light, no certitude nor peace nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. The speaker suddenly addresses companion as love and states desperately that the two of them need to treat each other with honesty and authenticity. So that's why critics says that is his wife. This is because the world, though it has a dreamlike quality of variety, beauty and newness, oh love, let us be true to one another. So let us be together, or togetherness can help to solve the problems. That's also one message of this poem. This is because the world, though it has a dreamlike quality of variety, beauty and newness, doesn't actually offer joy, love or clarity. Neither, claims the speaker, can it provide certainty, peace or relief from pain. The speaker then compares their collective situation to standing on a flat and dark piece of land which is caught up in the chaos of fighting. Here, battles between unknowing groups continue under the cover of darkness. See, Mathew Arnold speaks now directly to her and perhaps to all those true believers in God that are still out there. He asks that they remain true to one another in this land of dreams. The world is no longer what it was, it is more like a dream than the reality he is used to. Here in the lines, to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, had really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. So the speaker says the world is no longer what it was. It is more like a dream than the reality he is used to. It's a land that appears to be full of various beautiful, new and joyous things, but that is not in the case. This new world is in fact without joy, love, light, certitude or peace. Or finally, help for those in pain. It is not what it appears to be. Appearance and reality are far different. So, in those closing lines, see, we can see, and we are here as on a darkling plain. Darkling means plain in the dark. What happened? They swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night. Here, clash by night has another reference. The Athenian historian Thucydides describes a battle that took place at night during the Athenian invasion of Sicily. That's also one reference for this. So, the poem concludes with a pessimistic outlook on the state of the planet. As the people are suffering around the world on a darkling plain, confused and fighting for things they don't understand. Real suffering is going on and faith is slipping away. Thus, the poem concludes pessimistically as the speaker makes clear to the reader that all the beauty and happiness that one may believe they are experiencing is not in fact real. The world is actually without peace, joy, or help for those in need, and the human race is too distracted by its own ignorance to see where true assistance is needed anymore. That's all about the poem. Thank you. Have a good day.